Horsepower, 3,000. Speed, 120 meters every second. Unlimited hydroplanes, the most explosive racing machines on the planet.
Ignition.
Total of 11,000 square kilometers. A consummate blend of old and new, fashioned into the world's fastest growing economy. Hot in summer, delightfully temperate in winter. This is peace-loving Qatar and its stunning capital, Doha. The arrival of the World Unlimited hydroplanes here has created huge international interest, and not only the media. Everyone wants a slice of this astonishing action. And not long to wait, Thursday's qualifying is a first encounter for the drivers with the unpredictable Gulf waters. And a first opportunity to accumulate points. Pick of the bunch, U16 Elstrom Elan Plus, U1 Oh Boy Oberto, and U37 Miss Peters and May. The 10 fastest men in the world on water, led by 2008 American champion and current leader Steve David, U1. Behind him, informed Jeff Bernard, U5, winner last time out in Indiana. J. Michael Kelly, U7, fourth in the ABRA National High Point Championship. Dave Vilwalk, U16, 59 career wins, crashed last time out, rubbing paint with Steve David. Nate Brown, U17, ex-Gold Cup winner, world speed record holder. U22 rookie Mike Webster, third in his first qualifying race ever. Ken Muscatel, the world's fastest forensic psychologist, 1 mile speed record holder, 328 kilometers an hour. After a near-death crash in the first race of the season, Jean Thierret returns to pilot U37. Living his childhood dream, young gun Brian Perkins, U48. And U100 Greg Hopp, racing since he was 9. Best result 2009, fourth. Each with 2 goals, the new Oryx World Cup and USA national title. Plenty to win or lose. And while the national title looks to be either heading the way of Steve David, J. Michael Kelly or Dave Wilwalk, the new Oryx World Cup is a blank canvas. A winner-take-all final with all important lane positions selected from points accumulated here, but with one small difference. The lowest point scorers could have a say in lane choice, which may leave the high flyers battling on the outside tracks in that final. 8 heats coming up then before that final, each divided into A and B races. Selection for each heat and lane position decided by drawing numbers. So to the first competitive action, kicking off with Heat 1A. Ken Muscatel, U25 Superior Racing, J. Michael Kelly, U7 Graham Trucking, Jean Thierret, U37 Miss Peters and Lee, Nate Brown, U17 Our Racing, and Mike Webster, U22. Tight lineup, with Kelly holding on out front to take a maximum 400 points. Not as straightforward elsewhere. Thierret hits a turn mark on the final lap, incurring a penalty, handing second place to Brown, with Webster also cashing in for a useful third. Thierret is fourth, but no luck for Muscatel, shutting down the boat after suffering damage and also receiving a penalty lap for demolishing a buoy. In Heat 1B, fastest qualifier Dave Vilwalk, Elstrom Elan Plus lines up with Jeff Bernard, FormulaBoats.com U5, Brian Perkins, Go Fast Turn Left Racing UL18, Greg Hopp, Mirage U100, and national high points leader Steve David, oh boy Oberto, U1. It's the first big head-to-head with early advantage going David's way, but not for long. Vilwalk's superior firepower and lane position soon turn it around, dousing the championship leader in dirty water. Bernard finishes up with a hard-earned fourth, and Perkins is fifth after being penalised with an extra lap for jumping the start. All favourites through safely then. Heats 2A and 2B coming up. But first, a tour around one of the steaming beasts with current champion Steve David.
Welcome to the U1 Unlimited Hydroplane, the Oh Boy Alberto. Let's talk about Unlimiteds and give you an idea what they're all about. We're going to start at the front end of the boat. These are called hydroplanes because it's a combination of water and air. The object is to have the boat as light as you can on the water, because anytime it touches, it's friction. What keeps this boat in the water is this, which is called the canard wing. This is adjustable with my left foot. The faster you go, you come up a little bit to settle it down. When you come to a turn and want to fly the boat through the turn, this comes down, creating lift through the turn, and away you go. The boat's built out of composite material. The total weight's about 6,800 pounds without the driver in it. That's with about 60 gallons of Jet A fuel in it. What makes these things turn are the sponsons on the water and this thing here called a turn fin. This is fixed, and what happens when you go through a turn, water grabs this and allows the boat to pivot through the turn so you can enter it at 200 miles an hour and come out of it close to that speed. Although they're a jet, there's actually a propeller that runs them now. Our propeller is off right now because it's too sharp and it would hurt people. This is the rudder that you actually steer with. Above me is our rear wing. Its purpose is to keep the propeller hooked up all the time. If the boat's oscillating and the prop's not in the water, you're losing speed. So we keep the wing to get pressure on the propeller to keep the forward momentum.
And all powered by Lycoming Chinook engines. Time now though for Heats 2A and 2B, and in 2A, David continues to impress without having things all his own way. Bernard on Route 1 giving the champion a real run for his money down the start straight at over 300 kilometres an hour. And with points precious, David is forced to shift it up a gear on the turns in a risk all bid to snuff out the ambitions of the Indiana boy lying second to him on the national high points leaderboard. The charge is successful. David goes on to secure a maximum 400 points. J. Michael Kelly, U7 is third, and Perkins, U48, achieves a late strike on Webster after pressurising the Pennsylvania man on the last lap. In Heat 2B, another favourite is also on the rack. Dave Vilwalk forced into early defence against Canadian Jean Thierret, U37 Schumacher Racing. After snatching the early lead, the number 16 Vilwalk runs wide and ragged on turn 2, handing Thierret an opportunity. But without the grunt to make it stick, the Canadian progresses no further. Vilwalk, paramount, finishing the job in style to record his second victory of the day. Thierret settles for second, with Hopp using the inside lane to advantage, snatching third from Brown. All that action from yesterday's qualifying and first heats, live though now in Doha with the scores so far. Vilwalk, the full house, leads the way with David increasing his national points lead. And everyone keeping an eye on the exciting new Oryx World Cup trophy. Plenty to savour. We'll be back with all that action as it happens right after this. Welcome back to Unlimited Hydroplanes Doha, Qatar. The eastern seaboard of the Arabian Gulf bathed in glorious sunshine and anticipation at record levels too at this great sporting occasion. An event brought here by His Excellency Sheikh Hassan bin Jabir Al Thani.
We could have brought anything here in the world, but why hydroplanes?
Well, the hydroplanes have, I have always been chasing them for some time, and just wanting to have the right timing, for such event to be in Doha, the right period of the year, and and probably the year, the number of the year anyway. So which could be very important. And we started talking to them just about a year ago, and November 2009, they're in Doha Bay.
A view shared by the sports chairman, Sam Cole.
Everyone's always called these the world's fastest boats. To be able to take the fastest boats to the world is a significant step. It's something I believe that this sport should have done a long time ago, but to have this opportunity to come here to Doha, Qatar, for a world championship, to me is just a step in a new direction for the sport. And hopefully over the next 3 to 5 years, we will become more global in nature, which will be really good. And the vision of Sheikh Hassan in looking at the sport and working with us, he shares that vision in this sport becoming an international competition.
Groundbreaking, probably an understatement. All set then for Heat 3A, and after the draw, this is how they will line up. Jeff Bernard and Jean Thioret starting as favourites in lane 1 and 2, but mechanical issues means Webster doesn't start. A reminder of the points as they stand after yesterday's heats. Jeff Bernard needing to nail this one in pursuit of his national honours.
4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Heat 3A then underway, and the fine art of hitting the start line at 0 seconds is completed successfully by everyone. Crossing it prematurely incurs a penalty lap. Conversely, arriving late and you risk running blind in the roosters of those who got it right. 280 kilometres an hour into turn 1. On the exit, and Bernard on the inside track, on the button, takes the early lead. Running a little looser on that back straight. The water, although appearing reasonably flat, is not so at 300 kilometres an hour, with less than 1 metre of boat actually touching it.
You're losing him.
Riding there with Nate Brown in third. Bernard, turn 2, bouncing out of the exit. Thioret closes the gap to under a second. 1 lap completed, 3 remain, down the home straight again. Thioret losing a little ground this time, lacking straight line speed as Bernard thunders into the Mark II for the second time. Another great exit under pressure. Must win to keep his national championship dream rolling. And given the bumpy track, in pretty good shape. 2 seconds now ahead of Thioret. Tiding it up into the turn. There is Thioret. On board again with Brown, and a good impression of exactly how bumpy it is. And it will get worse as the sun heats the land. Cooler air is dragged off the sea, creating onshore sea breezes, which, when added to the backwashes off the seawall, will make life less and less comfortable. Thioret still hanging on, cleanly into turn 2, but still without that vital edge with which to make a serious statement. Bernard holds all the trump cards in this third heat. Little ragged again though on the approach to turn 2. Definitely the most testing and difficult part of the circuit. Hydroplanes relying heavily on lift created by the wing at the front and the rush of air in the tunnel beneath. Thioret still with ambitions hard through the exit. Last lap. Bernard ahead, flying literally at the point of takeoff. Just a few extra degrees of unwanted lift at the front at that speed, and that's exactly what he'll do. Into turn 1 for the final time. Skipping through the exit, dropping a few kilometres an hour, but not many. Quite incredible, really. Steadily down the back straight for the final time, and into the final mark then. No late offensive from Thioret, it would appear. It will be a superb win for Bernard, taking him to within a virtual 31 points of Steve David on the national high points leaderboard. There he goes, Thierret closing, but not close enough. Nate Brown will finish in third. There he is. And by the way, Greg Hopp dropped out on lap 1, so no joy yet for him this weekend. This is how they cross the line. 400 invaluable points for Bernard in his quest for both national and Oryx World Cup titles.
Well, right now we're sitting good. We had a second, third, and now a first, so still got one more heat to go. We can't have a zero, and right now it's all about just getting points to get in the final and staying within catching range of the U1 to try to win a national championship here too. So be interested to see this next heat. If he finishes second, we picked up another 100 points, so it'd be 330 something points behind. So all we're trying to do is stay alive, make it in the final, and hopefully come down to the final heat where we decide this national champion.
Heat 3B already leaving the dock. The big guns firing again in this one. For the second time in 2 days, it's Phil Walk versus David, with the young gun J. Michael Kelly eager to spoil either's party. Here we go again then. Oryx World Championship, Doha, Heat 3A.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, go, 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 go.
Perkins straight to the front, but well over the start line at 0 seconds. Penalty lap. Steve David acutely aware Bernard will again close the gap on the high points leaderboard if Phil Walk wins this one. Rubbing paint already, but can David really afford to gamble from lane 2, or should he play percentages? The next 2 minutes will reveal. Riding with Phil Walk, 310 kilometers an hour. Into turn 2.
3 Rooster Tail to the 7. It's you and Dave out there.
The voice of Steve David's crew chief informing him J. Michael Kelly is out of the way. Looks like a straight fight with this man. The bright, bouncing orange boat of Dave Vilwalk throws it into turn 1. And clean on the exit, Vilwalk is steaming. Perkins stays in 4th. Whoa, a little moment there for the race leader. Again on that approach to turn 2. Heart stopping if you're in the cockpit. Won't have escaped the notice of David. A little light at the end of the tunnel maybe, as he chopped 0.40 of a second off Vilwalk's lead. On the straight together. And Vil walk across to give himself a faster line into the turn. David follows. And the gap now almost a second and a half. Maybe not close enough. We'll have to see.
Third lap, we'll have this one plus one more.
The spectacular Dave Vilwalk and his Elstrom Elan Plus racing machine. Another blistering fast lap. Looking more and more invincible as this weekend progresses. You sense it's going to take something pretty special to topple him. David, without answers, forced to watch. Down the straight and into turn 1 for the final time. Vilwalk, by the way, lagging behind in the national rankings when he arrived here following a huge crash, but A big double might still be there if his weekend keeps going this way. He is in impressive form. J. Michael Kelly way back in third. Makes the turn as the big man, Dave Vilwalk, steams into the final mark. Steve David closing in. But it's too little, too late. That's the finish line, and Elstrom Elan Plus crosses it first.
Check your flag. Way to go, bud.
Steve David second, Michael J. Kelly here in third, and a very distant Brian Perkins will finish fourth following that early penalty. Satisfied Vilwalk pit crew, and this is how the points are allocated. David in the end securing 300, staying ahead in the Nationals, but all the time shortening his odds of landing the coveted Oryx World title. Because points accumulated over the weekend help determine lane draw in that winner-takes-all final for the trophy. Let's pop over to Steve Montgomery.
Talk among the locals about the Orange Boat. You have a lot of new fans here, so you're worldwide now.
Hey, it's an awesome event, really, and thank goodness the racers and the officials and the race committee have done a tremendous job to put it's a great show. The water is much better today than yesterday, so looking for a real smoker final.
Couple of minutes now while the pit crews make the necessary checks and adjustments before the vital fourth heat. So let's hear what the drivers think about it all so far.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, anytime we can get more recognition and have more people see our wonderful sport, the better off we are.
It's very exciting for us, particularly in this setting of Doha. The people have been so welcoming. The course is really the big challenge for us. I think the winner of this one is going to be the one that survives the course. We have very lumpy water. It's raceable, but it's certainly going to be a challenge for all of us. We haven't had this kind of challenging water anywhere in the States.
Is Doha everything you expected?
Yeah, it's everything and more. It's a wonderful place and a wonderful piece of water and wonderful people and a beautiful city. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to, hopefully we can put on a great race for everybody here.
By the way, no comment, you note, from those who question Sheikh Hassan's wisdom in bringing the hydroplanes here. Well, there's a surprise. Welcome back. Your timing is perfect. Just 8 boats left in the Oryx World Cup competition, and this is how Heat 4A will line up. Steve David's Oh Boy Alberto with a great chance of taking another step towards both USA National and Oryx World Cup titles. First, he must, however, jump what is always a tricky hurdle. J. Michael Kelly, U7 Graham Trucking, ever up for the challenge, has drawn inside lane. Countdown to lift off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Almighty close to the line at 0 on that one. Well, no reaction from the judges. Call it legal, call it what you like. It was extremely tight. Right in with Brown. Turn 1 coming up. David from lane 2 gets there first, but inside him, Kelly will make that up before the exit. And there he is, like Vilwalk. David with superior straight line speed will prevent Kelly making further progress. However, without a full rooster length between them, he must remain on station. So, Kelly will come again on turn 2. Here we go. Stunning mark from Kelly. David a fraction wide, letting him back in. Game on! Drag race to Mark 1, second lap. 320 kilometers an hour. Kelly here, growing in belief. Can he steal it? Into Mark 1 again. 2 laps to hold inside lane for a head-to-head sprint to the finish line. And David will not relish that. Turning up the heat on the back stretch. But, whoa, too much! The big 360 for the national points leader. And would you credit that? He's landed it. Well, quite unbelievable. Front lift, too much air down the tunnel, and like a jumbo jet at 280 kilometers an hour, he takes off. Somehow, he lands it. Steve David is a lucky man. Well, and that thumbs-up gesture, I suspect, is one of some relief. Everyone, of course, glad to see him back safe. But from the third angle, look at the agonizing moments as the boat hangs on the edge before making its ascent. Slow motion without slowing the pictures. And then a near perfect landing. It's all barely incredible.
Tell me exactly what happened.
I just caught too much air. I was running about 200 miles an hour going into the turn and just came off a roller and caught too much air and went over.
Were you surprised when you landed the right way up?
It's totally. I thought, gosh, I'll restart this thing and go win the race, but then I saw the red flag and realized we couldn't.
Okay, so there's a good chance you'll be in the next heat.
I hope. There's some deck fractures, and thanks. Good race, buddy. Hopefully its structure's okay.
Meanwhile, while his crew frantically get to work, Heat 4A will be rerun without David, but not until after Heat 4B. Words of consolation there from Sheikh Hassan, who experienced a similar fate here last year. Regretfully, he didn't land his. The action continues then from Heat 4B, already on the water. David's crash giving it a significantly different meaning. Both Philcock and Bernard's odds of achieving the double have improved significantly. By winning, Bernard will go ahead on the High Points national scoreboard, while a victory for Vilwatt would place one hand on the Oryx World Cup. Here we go. On the rubbing strips again, 300 kilometers an hour down the start straight. And Bernard gets to the mark first. It's the crunch point though. Can he now hold Vilwatt on the back straight? It's a tough call. Vilwatt is making up ground. There he is. Bernard wanting none of that though. He's hanging on. And that's a terrific mark from Bernard. Holding tight on the marks. But listen to this news reaching us. They've both picked up a penalty lap for jumping the start. Well, if that is the case, that could well swing the pendulum back towards David if Jean Theoret's Peterson May, third on the course at this moment, can now go on and snatch the win. Well, that is a bit of a stunner for the championship's main protagonist as it stands. That said, 300 points for second against 225 for third means they must essentially both fight on. Mar 2 coming up, it's advantage Vilwatt going in. Bernard again very tight, and it's even Stevens again coming out. What a great scrap this is. Vilwatt turning up the power again, riding with him, flat out, 318 kilometers an hour down the straight. Pulls out a small lead again, but it won't be enough when it comes to the turn. Bernard once more able to level things up on the shorter race line. And that is again superbly done. Down the back straight, and both drivers will be acutely aware of Steve David's fate, racing in similar fashion in the previous heat at this very point. A little wobble, but both safely through. 2 laps to go. Bernard tight, catches up again. And apologies to Jean Theoret fans, he will almost certainly win this heat from his current third place due to the penalties handed out on the leaders. However, we will stick with the leaders due to the significance of this race now. Into turn 1 again, and Vilwatt picking up a few priceless meters. How about the exit? Yes, he's definitely picked up, but remains within a rooster tail of Bernard. the back straight. And Vilwot beginning to pull away. Slings the boat, in fact almost hooks it out of the exit in search of further breathing space on the last lap. Bernard, almost invisible in his spray, isn't going anywhere yet, but this will go the distance. Hop, skip and jump, Vilwot into turn one for the final time. The most exciting driver to watch this weekend for sure. And with the greatest respects, giving the impression he's an accident waiting to happen. But it doesn't. It's just his way of driving. And the back straight for the final time. And into the final bend. Enough space between himself and Bernard, surely now to carry him over the finishing line. But here comes Bernard again. Whoa, it's the inside, nearly but not quite. U16 there by a whisker. John Theoret, U37, will be declared winner due to this wee misjudgment by the leaders over the start line ahead of the gun. This is how they all pass the checkered flag, handing Steve David hope should his boat be repaired in time for the final. That is. And here we go again in failing light with time running out. We're straight into the rerun of Heat 4A. Three boats, Kelly inside, Brown and Perkins outside in that order. Cross the start line, Brown, perfect timing, pulls early advantage out of Kelly. In clean water, needs a sharp and decisive turn at one to go with it. But, oh, that's much too wide. No problem for Kelly. Red number U7 takes the lead. On board again with Brown. This is 314 kilometres an hour, about 0.5 of a kilometre off Kelly's pace on the straightaway, and that will almost certainly dictate the race pattern. Brown hanging on though, maybe trying to force a mistake out of the younger driver. Who knows? This will be an emerging problem, especially for the final coming after this. Brown blinded here by the sun. Look at that. Absolutely lethal. It does get dark quickly here. And travelling, as we said earlier, at 120 metres every second. Difficult enough reading the water in full sunlight. No time at that speed to decide what to do next. No brakes either. As they say, certain people need only a pipe to drive one of these things. In case you're wondering, no, I haven't, and B, no, I wouldn't. But believe me, it is one huge 4-minute adrenaline rush. So Brown in need of something special and making a bit of a comeback. 1 lap to go, looking for a chance to join the elite on the final start grid, and once again within a rooster tail of Kelly's transom. There they go. Kelly away on the left should, however, make it safely to the finish line in front, unless, as David has proved already this afternoon, he becomes a victim of circumstance. Final time around turn one. Brown still sniffing, but in need of much more than that on the final 3,000 metres. J. Michael Kelly in control and heading home for his first weekend win. Perkins, incidentally, is way back in third. Final 15 coming up. Gap between the leaders around 1.5 seconds. Races have been won from 6 positions. What, if anything, has Brown got left? Foot still on the gas. Kelly equally stable, if that is the right word. Down the straight towards the penultimate turn. Kelly about 200 metres. Gets there first, tucks it in, safely through, on his way, and you sense Brown now with much to do. Too much to do, in fact, and it was a nice try nonetheless. J. Michael Kelly, Graham trucking number 7 out of the exit, a good 2 seconds ahead of Nate Brown, our gang racing U17. Into the final mark, around 100 metres ahead, and booking himself a slot in the Oryx World Cup final. Good win. There goes Brown. And here is Perkins. Turn left, go fast racing, filling the 3rd points place. Steve David, as we already know, disqualified for his aquabatics the first time around, so not troubling the scorers on this occasion. Well, he certainly troubled his pit crew. No structural damage we hear, but plenty of fixing before the boat can be declared fit. Let's find out from the man himself what's going on.
It's a testament to this team. We took that engine out, afraid that it might have over-revved for too long. The deck was a little loose, so they refastened it. All the alignment was rechecked. Wings and fairings, some new fixtures there. And as you can see, a lot of deck tape. And mainly that's for the deck. The bottom is structurally sound, the sponsons are. But when it landed, the compression of this just kind of buckled the deck a little bit. But these guys are all pros, so I feel plenty confident I can go out and run super hard in the final.
And going back to the point made earlier about it taking a certain kind of person to drive one of these things. Welcome back to Hydroplane's Doha Oryx World Cup. And this is the big news. They're craning in number 1, oh boy, Alberto. Heroic effort by his pit crew to get it back on the water in the nick of time. Steve David is ready to roll.
Pretty good where you are.
Damage, however, to his chances of landing double silverware, irreparable. To win, running lane 5 outside Kelly, Bernard, Wilwalk and Brown would be little short of miraculous. To come out of this race with anything almost as daunting. Spectators right behind him, they saw the crash. They have lived the frenetic hours as the pit crew struggled to repair the boat. If he does take anything out of this final, he will be their hero for sure. And here we go. A jet of flame draws gas from that crowd. It is just surplus fuel. No concern from either David or his mechanics. Unlike just 2 hours ago, when the Doha dream looked good as over. A long way back still, but at least he's made the final. The more you look at it, the more unreal it all becomes. I'm sure Steve David would admit at this point his destiny is out of his hands. Spine-chilling. Top 6 in the points accrued here will race in the final. Wilwalk in lane 1, Kelly lane 2, and David out in the wilderness of lane 5. And it's dark. Cloud cover removing the glare of the sun on the start straight, but bringing gathering gloom. This could be some amazing spectacle. The final shootout in Doha's fading light. The 2009 USA national champion and a new Oryx world champion, soon to be crowned. That's the story. Dark, dangerous. Countdown begins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go.
Timing absolutely paramount and perfect, especially for Steve David. Head to head down the straight, just on 320 kilometers an hour. Vilwalk right of picture, David on the left. Into turn one, Vilwalk there first, Bernard drops back, Kelly from third picks up the challenge. But this is a superb first 2 kilometres from Dave Vilwalk. He leads J. Michael Kelly.
All I see is spray right now. All I see is spray. Dave out front, Bernard second. I think we're running third. We're running third right now.
Oh boy, Alberto, Steve David charging around the outside in third, as you heard. Here comes Bernard, hard left to the exit, but straight into the rooster of Vilwalk. Nowhere to go in there. Jeff Bernard crashes out at the end of lap 1.
One of the boats is over. Red boat's over. Red boat's over.
Well, as with Steve David earlier, landing the right way up, but not in one piece. Cockpit open, steering wheel removed. All positive signs, bits of boat everywhere. Waiting for rescue, Bernard looking to be okay. His pit crew a little stunned. Rescue boats, medics at the scene. And we can take another look at the moment it all went wrong for Jeff Bernard and U5formulaboats.com. And that is a big, big crash. Into the dirty air of Dave Vilwalk's rooster, and once in there, there's no escape. Vilwalk slows and straightens his line to get around the yellow turn. Bernard can't see the boy, but is already committed. Split second, and no time in which to change his mind. J. Michael Kelly was right behind. Let's talk to him.
Do you know what happened?
Just hard racing. You know, we're in a points chase right now, and you know, he was driving his heart out. We went in the turn, and it was kind of rough through there, and I think it just, sponson came up, and when you're going those kind of speeds, you know, it doesn't take much to put you upside down.
Did you see any of it yourself?
Yeah, I had front row seats. You know, unfortunately, you know, especially seeing my buddy go up, you know, it's not a good feeling, you know, or if anybody, you know, we're going extremely fast out there, and, you know, you never know what can happen. But yeah, we just going into the turn, and his right sponson picked up, and, you know, it just went up and over, and I had to veer right to miss him.
Bernard currently on his way to hospital for a checkup. Damaged knee confirmed, that apart reported to be in fairly good shape. His boat, not so. Trashed, in fact. Well, apologies to Jeff Bernard and his crew, but just one more time. Convinced there, wasn't he? Dave Vilwalk was turning earlier. Well, unbelievably poor lighting now, but they will restart. The sun going down, and the faithful still on watch. Dave Vilwalk, Elstrom, Elam Plus, J. Michael Kelly, Graham Racing, Steve David, Oh Boy Alberto, and Brian Perkins deciding not to run. This will be a difficult 4 laps. And the countdown, 3, 2, 1, lift off. Great start by both Kelly and David. Vilwalk left at the line, but inside advantage should make that up at the first turn. Vilwalk, right of your screen. Kelly next to him. Make the mark. Ahead of David, dropping back on Route 5. Theoret is 4th, I think. Out of the exit, Kelly holding ground. David failing to make headway. And a fabulous effort this by Kelly. Vilwalk cannot get free, and that will give great heart to the young Graham Trucking sponsored youngster. Vilwalk, though, turning it up just a little bit. A magnificent turn delivers a small breathing space, just maybe showing Kelly who's the boss. And of course that might just be the match winner. But here comes Kelly again. He ain't throwing in the towel. This is great racing. David, I'm sure, watching with interest from third. His chances of winning the national title improved with the removal of Bernard, his nearest rival. Outside chance of picking up the Oryx World Cup, as does Kelly, but Vilwalk remains the firm favourite. Oh, but flames there from the back of U16. Vilwalk could be in trouble. We've seen small bursts of fire occasionally from the others as the salt water ingresses into the gas turbines, but that looked a deal more serious than that. Settling down a little bit again now, but that was a lot of flame expelled on that back straight.
It's all there in front of you, nobody's behind you, it's all there in front of you. Might behoove to dive to the inside, try to make up a little bit of ground, but your call.
David's crew chief suggesting he might run inside Kelly now he can legally do so. Certainly needs something along those lines if he's to return home with the new Oryx World Cup. And if Vilwalk's problem is indeed terminal, it may not now be beyond the realms of reality. Thierret still running steadily in fourth. All eyes, though, around the darkened arena, inevitably on Dave Vilwalk. Still clinging on to his lead. Kelly is closing. It's 2 laps to go. Can Dave Vilwalk hold on? Down the start straight. Oh, and flames again from the gas turbine of 16. This time, much more. Highlighted in the darkening backdrop. Exciting time for J. Michael Kelly, steaming in behind him. Out of the exit, Dave Vilwalk's dream double is hanging by a thread, desperately trying to extract every ounce from his ailing powerhouse. Flames pouring from his exhaust now, but he's still in there as the last lap flag beckons. Surely fate could not be so cruel as to rob him of glory at the last after such a dominant weekend. Out of the exit, in big trouble. Into the straight.
That's the white flag, white flag. White flag, one more left to go. You get down Vilwalk, you get by Vilwalk. We're going to win this thing in. Vilwalk's compressed stall. As long as he doesn't catch that guy, keep it running. He's got the same problem we had.
Well, what a seconder. Kelly and David will pick up their bonuses now. It's all over for the big man. And he will return home with nothing after all that hard work. While it is racing, I guess, but I doubt he will see it that way for a day or two. Less than 3,000 metres from home is no place to lose everything.
Bring her home, bud. Bring her home. It ain't over till I finish anything.
David picks up his windfall. And I suppose you should take nothing from him or Kelly. Every champion needs a little luck on the way, and they both got theirs on an amazing day of twists and turns.
Way to go, champ. Way to go. We won the championship. We won the championship, bud. Good job. Look at that orange boat. That motor's falling apart. What a piece of crap.
Well, not sure we should agree with that last comment. Maybe put it down to sheer enthusiasm. Well, in that cockpit, Kelly will be pinching himself. From comparative rookie to world champion is one big step. And this is how they cross the line. Vilwalk holding off Thierret at least to bag a podium place in the final race. And of course, Steve David picking up the national championship, making the big comeback when it looked all over. Let's pop over to the pits where Steve Montgomery has caught up with the new world champion.
J. Michael Kelly, congratulations. You are the UIM world champion. Has that sunk in?
Oh, no, not really. You know, it's an amazing feeling. You know, just being here is amazing. You know, hopefully we can do it again. You know, but to find myself #1 in the world, you know, it's a dream come true, you know.
You were staying ahead of Steve David. That's no small order.
No, not when you're chasing them all year. So, You know, we had this Graham trucking boat on a rail this weekend, and you know, it showed. You know, we put ourselves in a good situation.
The best drivers in the history of the sport are on the list of UIM World Champions. You now are on that list. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Not surprisingly, the man with the incredible 360 is the other hero. Clinching back-to-back titles and joining the sport's all-time Hall of Fame. Steve Montgomery is with him.
Steve, David, after your little air show earlier, you needed some luck to secure the National High Point Championship, and that's what you got.
Yeah, you know, you never give up. You refuse to lose. This team, man, they're phenomenal. I mean, I think we're the only team since Budweiser to have a repeat national championship. This is my 4th driver's title, and I think I'm in the ranks with the top 5 guys that have ever been in this sport. And they were the legends I grew up saying someday, and 55 years later, someday is here.
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen, your champion 3.
And that's it, at the end of a quite astonishing 3 days. Unlimited hydroplanes opening themselves up to the world for the first time, and the world responding with an unprecedented show of enthusiasm.
Go, go, go.